Hi, and welcome to my first movie review, and this review is going to be on Zack Snyder's. It was directed by Zack Snyder himself, and with the help of Larry Fong, the cinematographer of the movie. The visuals were brought to life, which is kind of ironic because it's a dark movie. But Larry Fong was known for his many works, which primarily include this movie, Kong Skull Island, and Batman v Superman. He's a member of the American Society of Cinematographers and the Academy Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences since 2011 and 2012 respectively. He's also unironically an accomplished magician, which is I think how he was able to make such a dark and grim movie so mesmerizing. But that's my own opinion. This video is going to be chopped up into two parts that all examine different aspects of this one amazing scene.
I was investigating a kidnap case. Blair Roach, 6-year-old girl. I was young then, too soft on criminals. I let them live. Broke a man's arm to get a tip. Led me to the missing girl's location. I knew the girl was here. But when I searched the place, I saw nothing. And then I found her.
Bark for Daddy.
It was dark when the murderer got back. As dark as it gets.
Who's out there? Who is it? Who is it? Ow! What? What? What the fuck? Who the fuck are you? What the fuck do you want? You killed my dogs, man. You think I had something to do with that girl? I found that! What evidence have you got? That's nothing. Okay. I confess. I kidnapped her. I killed her. Arrest me. What? Arrest me! I did it! I said I did it! Christ! Look, I've got a problem, man. Fucking take me in. I need help. No, don't do that! Take me in! No! No!
Men get arrested. Dogs get put down. Tremors of impact shook my arm. and blood splashed my face. Whatever was left of Walter Kovacs died that night with that little girl. From then on, there was only Rorschach.
So, what's the whole meaning of the scene? It's just a little girl who was murdered and eaten by dogs and a masked man who murdered a murderer. There's not much else to talk about. But that's if you're just taking the scene at face value. That's what I personally thought the first time I watched it. But the second and third time around, I started realizing something. This isn't just an investigation. This is the change between Walter Kovacs and Rorschach. Like he said in the beginning of the scene, this is one of his earlier cases. The scene starts off like how we'd all examine it. He's looking for the person who took the little girl, but he finds nothing much, aside from some dogs chewing a bone in a rundown apartment. As the scene progresses, Walter finds more and more things, and he starts processing everything before it inevitably clicks. He found the girl. She was right in front of him the whole time. And eventually he found the man behind it all. The scene starts to tense up as the ambient music starts to pick up, and he locks the man to the furnace where the child was burned. Walter is one of the masked. He works towards justice while Rorschach is justice. And while this is happening, the criminal is begging to be taken away. But Rorschach knows if he's taken away, nothing's going to happen to him. He's just going to go to jail. Walter wants to bring this man to justice, but the crime he committed is just too much. He didn't just take an innocent life, he took a little girl's life. There's no mention to what happened to her aside from slight flashbacks, but the scene clues help us piece together an idea of what this man could have done to this little girl. Walter wants to know more, but Rorschach knows what he has to do. This internal struggle is seen externally as the masked man paces around, trying to figure out what to do to deal with the killer. He wants him to pay for his crime, and there's only one thing that should happen. And as that's happening, the man later admits to the crime in the same scene, leaving Walter with everything he has to take him in. The weapons, the dogs, the bones, everything. But Rorschach needs him to pay for what he did. And while the man confesses, he grabs one of the weapons the killer used. It's still stained with the little girl's blood. He holds the weapon in his hand and feels powerless to his own judgment. His options are clear. He knows what he has to do and what he must do, but he doesn't know which road to follow. He's trapped between a rock and a hard place, as he knows, but doesn't know what to do. He's breathing heavily as he tries to find an option before Rorschach decides on what to do. And with that, he simply says this:
Men get arrested. Dogs get put down.
Men get arrested and dogs get put down. And with this, he keeps digging into the man for what seems to be forever. This is only stopped with the scene change of Walter in the prison, but Walter is gone and Rorschach is born. And after this, he even believes this.
My shoes. My spotless gloves. My face. My face! Give me back my face!
Well, now that the meaty gritty part of it is done, let's get to the easy part. The entire movie is filmed in a desaturated color. It's a dark atmosphere after all. It's not like your average Spider-Man movie. The gore is ramped to 9, the blood's ramped to 10, and the kill count is ramped up to 11. But this one specific scene seems darker than most of the movie. Dude, the movie starts off with one of the masked being thrown off the side of his penthouse, a hero who was turned into Swiss cheese, one getting sent to an asylum, and 2 women killed purely because of their sexual preference. And this is all within the first 10 minutes of the opening credits. But Going to take a step away from the bloodshed, the movie feels dark and grim, and that's because of the overall atmosphere, ambience, and the meaning in all the scenes. The movie is set in the fictional 1980s with some scenes taking back even further, with the earliest being the 1940s, but this scene feels dark because it is dark. It's taking you to one of Rorschach's first case. It's showing you what he felt. Most of the audience can understand where he's coming from. It's a hard choice. A choice letting the murderer live and killing him. And oddly enough, this somewhat humanizes Rorschach. In a city filled with rough upbringings, this one man is helping to try to change that. At the end of the day, Rorschach doesn't care if he dies. He just wants to promote what he believes is justice. This is why in the majority of the scene, he's shown in a higher angle. This is both to show that he's above the murderer and that he is in power. His choice is what's going to decide the murderer's fate. The only light source in the entire scene is a dim light bulb and the flashlight, neither of which help with the saturation, but they both show the intensity of the key things in the scene. The dogs, the two people, the weapon. The scene before the prison evaluation only shows a light hitting them from the side, which is Rorschach digging into the man, showing his silhouette cloaked in darkness. It's a dark act with a dark cause. It's a man murdering a murderer. And with that, I'd like to end off the video. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't, and then subscribe if you want more. And I'll check in with you guys later.